So today I'm going to tell you about a project we have at our school. It's called the Graduates Final Project. I'll tell you what it is, how we do it, how we prepare for it. The purpose of this final project is that it is part of our arrangement with the dual enrollment program. So this is one of the requirements for the students to receive their American high school diploma. This is something we give. This is a project that we give them a credit for. Well, yeah. All right. For the past 3 years, I have been on the board evaluating these projects. So I know them from this side, and I'm also in close communication with all the teachers that actually make it happen. So I hope to be able to share some things with you today. Is there anything specific you would like me to mention? Is there anything you want to know so that I can mention it during the presentation? You know it. Okay. Okay, we'll see how it goes. If you have any questions as we go, feel free to ask. Okay? So, the first thing is the format. I'm sorry, you can't see it very well. I will have this in PDF format. You can download all my slides afterwards. So, what the Graduate Final Project is, practically, it is a printed project file, 20 to 30 pages. So I have a few copies right here with me. So perhaps at the end of the session, you can come up to me, and you can just pick up a copy and look through them. So this is pretty similar to what you would find in some high school projects, some maybe projects made at the first year of university. Yeah. So a collection of data that they have analyzed. And after they have created this project file, they also make a presentation, 7 to 10 minutes long, which they present in front of 3, well, I call them assessors, or you can call them 3 judges, 3 teachers. Does this remind you of anything? A student making a presentation, there are 3 teachers with evaluation forms. It is completely like the Regional Student Convention. A very similar format. I'll talk about the evaluation process a bit later. So what's important about the people who are the judges, the people who are evaluating their presentations, they should be independent and qualified staff. So what I mean by this is, just as in the student convention, we try to put the people who didn't prepare them for their presentations as the judges, yeah, so that there is no bias, just like in the student convention. So it could be the school vice principal, it could be another teacher from a different grade. And when I say, qualified staff, I don't just mean any qualification. I mean, your school accountant is a very well educated and qualified and respected person, but we would like, what we like to introduce at this school is that it's normally someone connected with teaching, someone they know, they have competence in the field that they are presenting in, which is, knowledge of English and presentations and teaching. All right, moving along to the topic. So when deciding what topic to choose for their project, we ask that the topic is, of appropriate breadth and depth, which basically means it should not be too narrow, shouldn't be too wide. For example, it would not be the best idea to make a presentation on science or love. Yeah. it doesn't quite fit into a 20-page and 7-minute long presentation. We also ask that the topic is relevant to the student's interests and to the student's life, because it should not just be a routine task that they have to do. You know, there has to be some joy in it. And finally, ideally, it should be connected to their chosen field of study, because this final project is in fact a preparation for their life at university. This is very similar to the papers that they will write in year one, or at least in Russian universities for sure. But you probably know that in international universities, I think they might have even more papers to write than we do in Russian ones. So it's all for their benefit. So the idea is that if the topic was chosen well enough, they will be able to further their investigation and their studies when they go to university, right? So here are some examples of the topics that have been chosen by our students in the past years. And I'll let you decide. I'm not saying that these are perfect examples. I'll read them out. But tell me what you think. Are they too narrow? Are they too wide? Would that be a good topic in your opinion? So the first one is human psychology through the prism of handwriting. What do you think about that?
It's very good.
Yeah, I found it pretty. It's a pretty good mix. So it included the students' interests. So she was really interested in this kind of psychological aspect. So it's not the whole of psychology that she's taking, just a piece. It's enough to create a work of the necessary volume, and I believe that it has the potential to grow into something bigger. Yeah, she can then further this study. So another student made a presentation on Aleppo in the Syrian Revolution. So she's a Syrian girl, and the history of her country is really important to her. And we had one more presentation that was the good, the bad, and the ugly side of technology. What do you think about this one? Genuine opinions. No opinions? I only have my opinion to share.
I mean, it's interesting, but it's not kind of deep, not kind of... It's good for report, I would, in my understanding, not for some kind of...
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a good start. But it's a bit too broad and a little simplistic. So, and that's why the role of academic advisor is so important. Because we work with the students, and normally the procedure is, I'm sorry, I'm skipping over things. We have a nice document where it's all outlined. So there is actually a teachers' meeting at the beginning of the year where teachers are assigned to certain students to be their academic advisors. And so this teacher guides the student in the process of creating that and defending that project through the course of the year. Okay? Next one. Oh yeah, and we go straight on to evaluation. So I actually have copies of the evaluation forms. I'm afraid they're not very pretty, but I'm going to give them out to you anyway.
We'll take it.
Yeah. Well, you probably... Oh, thanks. If you could just... If you one there... Yeah, thanks. So because here we're talking about the skills, life and study skills that can be produced through this final project, I'd like us to look at the various parts that they are evaluated on. because we did not just randomly sit down and decide, oh, well, let's judge them on this because it looks good. There is a purpose to every one of the points. Now, length of speech, 7 to 10 minutes. What kind of skill would that practice for their future life?
A lot interview.
Okay.
Job interview in university.
Yeah, but what about it? What is the skill that they can apply in their final project, at a job interview, and wherever, using this criterion? Length of speech, 7 to 10 minutes. What does that say? What does that teach them?
Communication.
Okay, yes, communication, and not just communication.
Time management.
Exactly, yeah. Time management. It's really, really important to kind of to feel how long you're going, how long you have left, to plan your speech accordingly. And this is also, like, these are quite strict criteria, but they also they help us make sure that it is not an impromptu speech, that it is well prepared. If you are prepared, you can manage your time and make it 7 to 10 minutes. Okay, next one is the knowledge of material. Does this need any comments? Well, I suppose it's just whatever field they're in, whatever they do. Yeah?
Are those people, well, those three, are they asking questions?
Yeah. Yes, there are some questions, about 2 or 3 questions asked at the end of the presentation. Normally what happens is, as they're speaking, we're looking through their file, and so if something like jumps out at us, if something is of interest, we may ask a clarification question or a question, I don't know, for further investigation. Okay, the next point is effective presentation of visual aids. So in this case, what are the visual aids? It's normally something similar to this, yeah, like a PowerPoint presentation, and here, so they can use whatever tools and platforms they like. They can use PowerPoint, they can use Google Slides, they can use Prezi or any other programs that are available. Okay, next one is quite, it looks quite subjective, doesn't it? Originality and creativity. So how do we evaluate that? How do we know?
Topic cannot be very boring, so it needs to show you creativity, that it's more or less interesting to the students with whom you are doing.
Yeah.
Originality also.
So it's the same. It's not the topic. If we're taking the topic holidays, which I like, so it's not original and it's not very creative.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, this originality and creativity can be expressed through the choice of topic, and it's also the result of it being something relevant to their interests. If they talk about something that they are not interested in, it will be boring. So, okay. And the next point is connection with the student's life. Oh, yes, a project connection with life. This is a really important point. To me, this is, to me as an evaluator of these presentations, I always want to hear a very clear aim. Very often I see this mistake made. They make this long, they write this long paper, they make this whole presentation that's just listing facts. And then I just want, my only question that I have left is, so what? What next? Yeah. So what I would like to see in the students that are making these presentations is that they know what what the end project is, yeah, or what their conclusions are after they've made all of this research. So one example, I really hope, I don't remember if it was this year or last year, one student proposed a topic, and I really hope they're not going through with it. It's like the connection of genius and insanity. So, to me, what jumps out to you? Would you be okay with that? It's okay if you would. I'd like to hear your reasoning. Yeah.
It's okay if somebody in their family has both and they have a first-hand contact with with them, and so it relates to them in that way. They actually have some sort of expertise to be talking about that.
Okay, yeah, so they have to have some kind of expertise to talk about it. To me, it just feels like, first of all, yeah, a bit presumptuous. A lot has already been said on this topic, yeah, and I have failed to see a constructive objective in this. So this, my question of, so what, or and what? What do you want to convey? Yeah. So of course, if that student can provide an objective, yeah, why not? Go ahead with it. But very often, this clear objective is what helps select the better topics for the student from ones that aren't as. Did I cross a line?
Oh no.
Okay, good.
I have a couple of things to add if you find the
Yes, sure.
Alongside with that, I explained to some colleagues that we've opened a TED club. So we're learning how to do this. And one thing, and actually the very first exploration that we did with the kids to help is what makes your heart beat faster? In other words, explore your passions first. Then you're not going to be talking about dogs in Korea if you are an American student and just love dogs, right? So that is one of the first things that we do. And another one, since now they've been coming to me with their topics for their TED Talks, which some of them will double as the final presentation. When they come to me with a topic that is not relevant, just find a way for them. If they have a passion for it, then it's our job as consultants to help them find a way that it relates to them. And then we would come up with an
From
objective.
what age you studying already, kind of talking about that, preparing them to that?
Senior 1 class right now has TED Talk classes, but the final project is...
Okay, so we're going to talk about preparation. That's it. That's the next part, and I will talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just go over the remainder. Can you please tell me how much time I have? I'm sorry I'm not displaying very good time management skills here.
12.
Okay, so 10 minutes. Okay.
10-15 minutes.
Great. So then let's get on with it. So the next criterion. Oh, we've skipped over speech mastery. So again, this comes with good practice, and that's why I'm really grateful that they have TED Talks, because I believe that the only way to get better at something is to practice. If you've, I always give this example. I've been trying to learn French. And I did like an audio course, and I took a couple of lessons. I've been to France 3 times, including once for 2 months. I can't buy bread in a shop. I've never been able to, because I've never had any practice. I mean, I've not tried. I've never gone to a speaking club or anything. So I think it's so important when you actually do the thing that you're supposed to do, then you can actually do the thing. No amount of thinking about it and imagining it will be the same as actually going out and making a presentation. So, a lot of respect for the TED Club. Yeah. Okay, next one is eye contact with the audience, which is connected with presentation skills and speech mastery as well. I don't think it needs much clarification. Then the content of the project. Again, we read through the file and we see whether it has clear objectives, a purpose, a conclusion. So it's just, well, on the one hand, it's like we're taking a formal approach to it, we're just seeing that it's all in place, but at the same time, you can see it come out in the presentation if there's this integrity. Then the value of the collected material in the project file. So this is again to confirm the research that the student has done. So normally they'll conduct some surveys in their class, they'll find a lot of information from various sources. And the final thing we evaluate them on is give outs, because we find it's a good practice. It's a good practice for speakers to give some materials. I think it's quite memorable when someone has something to fiddle with, to hold. Okay, any questions about the evaluation and these criteria? Okay, if not, then we can go over to preparation. And for this, we're going to have a casino. So if you really dislike the word casino, you can think of it as an auction. So what I'm going to do, have you ever played a grammar casino? No? Okay. So it works as follows. You will receive a piece of paper, one per table, and on this piece of paper you have 7 sentences. So they are the steps to preparing for the project. Some sentences are grammatically correct. Some of them have one mistake. Your task as a team is to identify the sentences that are correct. And when you know that a sentence is correct, you can place a bet.
Your profession.
This is worth $50. You will have a total of 250. So you have 5 of these. So you can place your bets on the sentences that you consider correct. Okay? So, sorry?
Because we can win something.
How many right will we do?
I don't know. Your task is to choose the correct ones.
And we bet in just on one, right?
No, you can bet on all the ones you believe are correct, but you have a maximum of 250.
Okay, yeah.
But you do. Okay.
She works. To decide which way it says. If the sentence is correct, then you put it on.
If it is
Like
correct,
this?
grammatically correct or what? Teacher wrong. The student chooses one correct document. The teacher more good. Student learns.
So punctuation will also count.
No, we will not count punctuation. The Oxford comma is not there. I know. It can be. There can be one grammar mistake.
That's a part of the project in the learning center.
I think you're supposed to
Watch it for the student defends it.
Yeah. So if you think that they are correct, the student answer. This is $50. You can write down how much you want to bet.
Okay, now you repeat it.
You don't know.
Some are not.
And then we will check. We'll check. Oh yeah, I didn't explain that bit. Let me say it to everyone. So for now, choose the sentences that are correct. And next to the sentences that are correct, please write down how much you are betting. 50, 100, 150.
We don't have to bet on every.
You do not have to bet on every sentence, only the ones you think are correct. Then we will check. And if you were right, your money doubles. If you were wrong, then you lose it.
Only grammar, right?
Yes, only grammar. The Oxford comma does not count.
So. What?
Okay, you have 1 minute left.
So I can write anything other than 50.
Well, yeah, so you have 100 or 250.
So I can write 50, 100.
Yes.
Okay, this is 100.